The Old Mill is one of the most iconic images and restaurants in the Pigeon Forge area. But what makes them so popular, and is it a place worth taking the time to go? In today's video, we will take you to the Old Mill and give you the bare facts of this extremely popular attraction and restaurant. Welcome to Bearfacts, where we explore the Smoky Mountains one bear fact at a time. This iconic location has been in Pigeon Forge since its early infancy. It was a grist mill, a post office, an iron forge, a pottery, a secret place knitting outfits for Unionists during the Civil War, an electric plant, and even a hospital at one point. The mill has worn many different hats and has been given credit for the actual name of Pigeon Forge, as people would observe high concentrations of passenger pigeons on the mill roof. Unfortunately, this species has long since been extinct and no longer is living in the Smoky Mountains, and because it was connected to the forges next to the mill. People connected the two, and now we call it Pigeon Forge. This place deserves its respect and place of honor in the community. The grist mill has been owned by just as many people as its worn hats. Mordecai Lewis was the first owner of the land that the mill stands on today. It was his son-in-law, Isaac Love, who built the actual mill. American ingenuity, culture, and history have all played a crucial part in making the mill what it is today. From the Revolutionary War to the Civil War to the Great Depression, not only did the Old Mill survive each of these major milestones in our history, but they have left their mark as well. With each owner came different changes, each change reflecting the needs and wants of the community you now call Pigeon Forge. The restaurant part of the mill is one of the latest identities that have been given the location. When the restaurant itself was open, the original owners called it the Cornflower Restaurant. But in the mid-90s, there was some changes to ownership and it became the Old Mill Restaurant. It's hard to think that this place has been in the making for over 200 years and has such an important role in the history of Pigeon Forge and most of the Smoky Mountains. But with that rich history also comes a reputation of durability, dependability, and quality. These are three adjectives that I think best describe this landmark location and an identity that you can see in every aspect of the business. From the products they sell, the food they serve up, to the upkeep and quality of service they provide their customers. The Old Mill stands up with pride and keeps turning. But let's take a closer look at the restaurant and talk about what they offer. The Old Mill is situated on the corner of River Street and Old Mill Avenue. It's very easy to find, but parking can be a little challenging if you need something close. The back of the restaurant has a decent-sized parking area with handicap access and parking. However, the volume of people who are sometimes eating or waiting to eat here far exceeds the size of the parking lot. You might need to park in one of the other lots behind or around the shops near the mill if this one is full. Parking is free, but you might need to drive a little bit farther than you'd want to park and walk a little bit further than you'd want to walk to get there. I do appreciate that the Old Mill is conscious and respectful of their visitors' needs. There's a ramp that goes up and around the entrance, but it's a long ramp and there are some people who won't be comfortable with this. They have provided an elevator at the base of the restaurant that will take these guests directly to the hostess lobby entrance. Inside the restaurant, they will have wheelchair elevators that will give guests access to different levels within the restaurant as well. There are stairs in case you can take them instead. If you're visiting the Old Mill during their peak season, holidays, or weekends, expect long waits. The restaurant inside is pretty big, but they're very popular and can see over an hour-long wait at times. And they don't take reservations. To get started on the wait list, you will need to head to the hostess and get on the list. Once you're on the list, you can wait outside in the covered ramp or head down to the store below and browse the shops. They will call your name when your table is ready. When we were there last, they didn't use pagers or text messages to call you when your table was ready. This might have changed since the last time we were there, but it would have been fun to have a pigeon send a message at least. Once they call you to your table, you will be seated either on the top or lower level. The design of the restaurant's a little odd. It's built like a split level house. The main floor has the bathroom and kitchens. The top and lower levels are the seating areas for guests. There are handicap ramps, elevators for guests with mobility issues. We enjoy the seats next to the windows, and if this is your preference, you can always request one, but they won't guarantee those seats. As you head towards the seating area, you will get a chance to look at the kitchen and watch as the cooks make their famous gristmill bread that is actually made and served on site. What I didn't know until doing research for this video was that the mill is still operational. That's right, the grist mill is actually still making flour and selling this flour to guests as well as making their bread from the flour that is being milled. That wheel isn't just a cool tourist attraction, but it's a part of a functioning and an operating system that grinds flour. Though the current wheel you see in the front of the mill isn't the original being a casualty of the raging waters that the mill sits on, the current mill is still pressing and grinding the flour they use and make today. They actually have tours that you can go on that will let you see this process and give you more information. These tour tickets can be purchased in the gift shop below the restaurant. If you don't have time for a tour, you can still purchase the flour from the gift shop if you want to make your own bread at home. The restaurant has a very old feel with wooden floors, walls, and furniture that gives you the Old West vibe. But more than that is the feeling of being at your grandmother's country farmhouse. The chairs aren't your typical restaurant chain wooden blocks, but rather chairs and tables you might see at an old farmhouse. With delicate carved spool backs and legs, the antique-style chairs give the guest a place to sit and enjoy their meal. They really maximize the availability of floor space by backing the tables together tightly. It can feel a little crowded when they're busy. No surprise, but I really like the little bear salt and pepper shakers made by the in-house potters attached to the restaurant. The menu itself is quite impressive. The general theme is diner foods or foods that are home cooked. If you generally prefer comfort foods, then this is the perfect place for you. They're open 8 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. most days and advertise that they're open on many holidays, including Thanksgiving. As I've said earlier, they focus on comfort foods from fried chicken, turkey dinners, to pot roast meals. They give generous servings, and you will not leave disappointed if you want a filling meal. They do, of course, give you bread with your meal, a variety of choices from hush puppies to bread rolls. Each meal comes with a variety of sides, depending on the meal you choose from. And the restaurant does offer some lighter fare, salads, and dishes that won't leave you rolling out of your chair after the meal. But like most southern restaurants, their most popular dishes are heavy and filling. We enjoyed the fried catfish and turkey meal. It came with a lot of side dishes. If you enjoy sweet coleslaw, then I would suggest giving theirs a try. We did ask for the soup and weren't disappointed. It was thick and loaded with meat and vegetables. I would have guessed the mashed potatoes were real and not powdered, or they gave a convincing potato. I'm not sure which one. We have had their fried chicken and pot roast in the past as well. All the dishes were good. And if you have room for dessert, they have a good list of them, including their famous pies. The service we had was excellent, even as busy as they were. Our server was very friendly and helpful. He overheard us talking about Dollywood bread and even suggested a local place that he knew of that served their bread, a very good imitation of it, going so far as to look it up and finding them on Google Maps. I'll be showing this small bakery in a future video. So is this place worth it to go when visiting the Smoky Mountains? Let's take a look at the pros and cons. I'm sure you won't be shocked to learn that some people are underwhelmed and don't feel that it's worth the hype, and others are excited about the atmosphere and history of the location. It's situated in a beautiful location tucked up against the West Prong Little River, a scenic stretch of water that feeds the mill its energy source. You can walk over the old mill bridge, which has actually been rebuilt 7 times through the history of the mill. It's a striking location and very picturesque. The reviews for Old Mill vary as with any popular tourist locations. There is quite a big hype around them, which draws people in. Their location and what they offer in the surrounding area also draws in the crowds. So if you want a quiet dinner out of the tourist district, this might not be the best fit for you. It's almost always busy there and you will not escape the tourists. And with high volumes of tourists come other issues. Quality and service can suffer when staff is under those kinds of conditions, though I personally have never had that problem myself. I would suggest putting it on your to-do list if you want a place that has that kind of deep-seated history and local foundation that the old mill has. I mean, they basically named the town, or at least it's one of the accounts of the naming of Pigeon Forge. If you want to take your time to walk around and look at the shops and other things that the old mill district has to offer, and if you're looking for a family-friendly dining option that offers variety and large portion sizes, then this might be the place for you. The old mill definitely has a big following. People who make their way there anytime they can, and people who simply just enjoy the culture, history, and heritage behind the building. There's a reason that the old mill has been here for over 200 years and still grinding out the grain. And if you're curious and try it out, let us know. Or if you've been there and have any more to say or add, please feel free to include them in the comments below. As always, we hope you've enjoyed our video. Please help our channel to grow by clicking the like button and subscribing. And stay informed about new video releases by clicking the notification button. Thanks again for watching us at Bearfacts of the Smoky Mountains.